what exactly is causing the problems.
Over the next 3 days, the DEP will ramp up testing. Here's how it works. They say in the first 24 hours, a water sample is collected, tested in the lab, and then determined if there are cyanobacteria toxins in the algae. The chemical analysis for the toxins will follow in the next 24 to 48 hours. So within those 3 days, the sample is taken from the water to the lab. The results are complete.
We know that the water from Lake Okeechobee feeds the algae blooms, but we also know that water running off of our natural landscape also feeds the algae blooms. So with these new monitoring stations, we'll be able to know what nutrients are in that water, how it's feeding the algae blooms.
For the next 3 days, the Department of Environmental Protection will monitor the algae blooms. For updates, just stay with Fox 4 on air and online for the latest. Reporting on the Caloosahatchee River, I'm Jillian Hartman, Fox 4, in your corner.
All right, thank you, Jillian. And tonight, the governor is getting criticized, though, for his water policies for the past 8 years he's held office. A statement from Florida conservation voters says tonight, not only has Scott laid off scientific staff, completely dismantled environmental agencies, he also spent years fighting water quality standards. Now, it's too little, too late. And tonight, this statement from a St. Lucie County commissioner, remember that Lake O water gets released to the East Coast as well. Quote, in his first year, Rick Scott gutted the regulatory agencies and staff focused on water issues in Florida. Those are the professionals that keep the contaminants out of our waterways. 8 years later, we are experiencing the dire results. You've seen the video, the images of just how bad this algae looks. But the blooms don't just look bad, they smell rank. And in your corner, Sam Sosa learned that firsthand. Sam?
The smell is atrocious. Right now I see that you have a mask on. I should have a mask.
The first thing you notice stepping into Dawn Walker's backyard is the smell.
It's like being in the middle of a pig or cattle farm.
She says the smell's even noticeable in and around her home. It's coming from this green, thick, frothy algae bloom that's been growing over the last few days in the Coral Point Canal. Once the algae dies, it turns blue and attracts thousands of flies. Dawn and her partner are seasonal in Cape Coral, and this algae's so bad, they'd rather go home.
We were planning on leaving, but we're leaving early because the smell is just that strong.
This canal isn't far from where Governor Rick Scott caught a glimpse of the algae himself. After a boat tour on Cape Coral's waters, he said he would declare a state of emergency this morning.
I'm sure if you're a boater, if you're a fisherman, or if you just want to enjoy the water resources, it's frustrating to see this in the water. So at the state level, we're going to continue to do everything we can.
What does that mean for us as the residents? Are you going to have somebody come in and remove this algae?
If you live on a canal that looks something like this state of emergency could help you. The declaration directs the Department of Environmental Protection to give grants to local governments with funding to contract cleanup services. So hopefully this will be taken care of. It also dedicates more staff to sample and test water in affected areas. The declaration will also find additional storage for water from Lake Okeechobee, so the Army Corps of Engineers doesn't have to send water to our coast. Meanwhile, on Fort Myers Beach,
the way I generally feel is a little too much, a little too late.
Clean water activist John Heim tells me damage has already been done.
Seagrass does die off naturally, but what we're looking at here is an unnatural die-off.
He tells me 2 summers ago, the governor declared a state of emergency for the same problem. And here we are again. Heim says it's time to treat the problem at its source.
What really is needed is cleansing components and filtration measures.
Sam Sosa, Fox 4, in your corner.
So you might be wondering what else this state of emergency declaration means for you. You can read that full declaration right now when you click on Sam's story on fox4now.com.